Alright, your quiz today. Absent being able to meet with each of you individually this weekend, I'm going to go over some of the most common mistakes that I am seeing. Let's see. Alright, first of all, I'm not sure what happened here. When we move B, if you're moving things on the inside, for many of you that was a great start. When you move B to the negative 1/2 down to become B to the 1/2, and the person who missed this turned that into B to the 3/2. I'm not sure if that was a math error or if you're adding 2 and negative 1/2. But you automatically jumped to B to the 3/2. And I would really take this intermediate step where you actually rewrite it as 2 for one power and 1/2 for the other. Right? And then look at that and add those up. Because 2 plus 1/2 is going to give you 5/2, not 3/2. So there, my advice is go ahead and write intermediate steps. The less that you have to do in your head, the less likely it is that you will make small errors. When you try to do too much in your head, right? Because you're thinking about rational expressions, rational exponents, you're thinking about negative exponents, you're thinking about the many things that are still to come in the next few steps. And so if you can offload some of the simple calculations and not have to do those in your head, you'll leave room for more of the strategic decisions that you are making. So that is one big piece of advice, is when you are having to do something complicated, to slow down and to go ahead and write out each of those steps. It's life is kind of like that. Whenever you are in a conflict situation and trying to work out something with someone, right, slow down. Restate what the other person says. I'm applying this to conflict resolution, but the ideas are the same. When things are sticky and hairy, people tend to speed up, and I would say slow all the way down. And you are likely to do better. It's kind of like walking through mud. You just want to pick your path carefully. The more, or from a leadership perspective, the more that you can delegate, like those little things, that frees you up to think about the most important things. So, in this situation, writing out every little step and then taking the next step, rather than using your mental energy to try to do mental math like this and jump to that, you are freeing up your mind to think about the bigger picture things. So one big piece of advice there. Another thing that I saw was, taking something like, let's use A to the 3/2. A lot of you took care of the negative, it ended up on top. I'm just isolating this one little situation. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, but when you square something, what that means is A to the 3/2 times A to the 3/2. And this kind of gets at another issue that I saw. And again, you guys know this. It's just in a test situation, and you're having to think about many things at the same time under pressure. I realize that you don't know it as well. So some of that is practice, and some of that is the slowing down. And here, of course, this is going to be A to the 6/2. In some places, I am seeing A to the 3/2 times, or to the second power, as giving me A to the 6/4. And so you're multiplying by 2/2. You should just multiply these two exponents, 3/2 and 2, to get A cubed. Alright, so you're Your exponent laws apply the same way they do with regular numbers. So do this. Do this. Right? These are the same. These first two are correct. Okay, do not multiply by 2 over 2. That is not 2, that is 1. Another thing I saw was squaring. Right, now you got 9 over 4. Okay, that is not the same thing. Okay. Basic law of exponents that you want to remember is if I have a cubed and it's squared, then I'm going to have a to the 6th. So a cubed squared is a to the 6th. If I raise a power to another power, then I multiply. If I am multiplying the same base, or two powers with the same base, here's a cubed, here's a squared, I have a to the 5th. And so those laws are applying pretty much, well, exactly the same way, even though you're dealing with fractions. So this was the majority of the issue that I saw on number 1, was applying those exponents. You got everything into the right place, and then you multiplied out your exponents incorrectly. Some of the other things, I think people forgetting that your numbers too, those you will distribute the power to your constants. So that becomes 1 over 5 squared, or 1 over 25. So I think part of the issue is that you don't see an exponent there, and so you don't distribute the -2 the way you do to the other exponents. But if there's no exponent there, it's really because the exponent, the power is 1. And so you do need to distribute. I'm not sure if it was because it was 5 or because the exponent was invisible, assumed, so to speak. But don't forget to do that. Let me see. I think that is pretty much it.